Some cat was laying down some rock and roll, like a sailor said.
All right, my lovelies, lilies, lords, lads, dudes, sugar mountains on the moon, lovelies, laurels. All right, what do we got going on today, God? We don't know. I don't know. I thought we'd finish up the Ghoul. Yeah, we're going to finish the Ghoul off, and then, the Mutt, the Mutt family and the Ghoul. And look at a couple more documents and see what kind of trouble we can get into. All right, let's go. I love you, baby. Let's go, baby. Let's go. All right. I want to start at 143. 143 is where we're going to start. All right. Now, this is after Brian's been captured. They had some tips still that they're looking at. Serial numbers here. The following tips were evaluated and some subjects were contacted. So you see the serial numbers here. We have one in-person interview, one phone contact, so on and so on. We got reporting parties here, a whole bunch of different reporting parties. We'll see them. See a bunch here. And then we got witness, and then we have suspects. So, suspect 3, unknown male, 31. Suspect 7, 22-year-old unknown male. Suspect 9, another 31-year-old male. 10, 28-year-old female. Suspect 12, 42-year-old white male. Moscow, Idaho. Suspect 14, we got a 44-year-old white male in Moscow, Idaho. 15, a 64-year-old white male in Moscow, Idaho. And here's the narrative. Let's see what they do with these, okay? So, yeah. During the subsequent investigation following the unalivings of the four on the 13th of November, I reviewed several tips and contacted or attempted contact with several subjects. During this time, Brian was identified as a suspected perpetrator and he was arrested. The following tips were evaluated by investigators. Follow-up started and some subjects were contacted and then we didn't do anything. Right? We'll see. Obviously. Okay, so serial number 78, per tip information, reporting party, believe, and were subjects who should be contacted due to their long history with blank. Blank allegedly had previous weapon possession charges and drove a white sedan. Investigators discovered this person had an active warrant and attempted multiple times to contact him, but were ultimately unsuccessful. During that time, Brian was identified as a primary suspect and he was arrested, so we totally forgot about this person. We didn't do anything more, so this could be a suspect, this could be the suspect, but we let it go. Serial number 177, per tip information, the reporting party and 2 reporting parties believe that was a suspicious male who should be contacted due to his sporadic work activity and his wearing of a large belt knife. Multiple unsuccessful attempts were made to contact this potential suspect, during which time Brian was identified as a suspect and arrested. So we didn't follow up with that anymore. Serial number 954. Per reporting party, these 2 reporting parties believe that this suspect was a suspicious male who should be contacted due to his residence proximity to the unalivings and suspicious activity, which included an incident where he allegedly offered to sell the reporting party acid and later arrived at their apartment uninvited with alcohol and had to be escorted from the residence. Multiple unsuccessful attempts were made to contact this person, during which time Brian was identified and arrested. And we didn't care about him either. We just gave up on that. Serial number 1389. Okay, the reporting party believed that was a subject who should be contacted due to his alleged narcissistic personality alcohol and substance use, and misogynistic view of women. Investigators began evaluating the tip. However, before this person was contacted, Brian was arrested as the primary suspect, and we didn't give a shit anymore about this tip either. Good job. Serial number 8191. Per tip info, the reporting party blank blank believed she had seen Brian's profile on Tinder or Facebook. On January 18, 2023, I spoke with this person by phone. She told me she believed she had seen Brian's face on a dating app profile, but couldn't remember which one. She also told me she didn't have any interaction with the account or Kohberger, and she wasn't completely sure it was Brian's profile because the profile name was not Kohberger's name, but she couldn't remember the profile name. Wow, you're very... Well, then what the hell are you doing? Yeah, I got a tip, but I have no information. That sounds like Moscow, Idaho. I don't know. Serial number 8, is that dot? Maybe that's dot. Serial number 8378. I'm not going to tell you what I know because I don't know anything. Serial number 8378. Per tip information, the reporting party observed a vehicle matching the description of Kohberger's near Diamond, Ohio. The reporting party reported, oh my God. The reported observed timeline and Brian's timeline per his cell telephone didn't match. The reporting party reported seeing the vehicle at midday, while Kohberger's cell phone data showed him traveling past Diamond, Ohio on December 16, 2022 at 2 a.m. So much of that. VCC 2976. Per this tip, the reporting party blank blank believed her ex-husband blank blank should be investigated in relation to the unalivings due to his alleged previous threats towards people and his blank at the University of Idaho. Investigators began evaluating the tip. However, before this potential suspect was contacted, Brian was arrested already, so we didn't care. We got lazy again, right? These all could be potential suspects, guys. Here's another one. 5450. Oh my God. The reporting party believed that blank was a suspicious male who should be contacted due to his alleged activity making feel uncomfortable for years, as well as one of his Facebook photos showed him wearing a face mask. Oh my God. Investigators began evaluating the tip. However, as all the previous ones, Brian was arrested, so we didn't care anymore. February 7, 2023, Idaho State Police Detective Schwecke and I interviewed blank blank at the Moscow Police Department regarding information received in serial number 3195. After being advised of the nature of the interview and that it would be recorded, blank provided the following information. All right. He is a blank at the University of Idaho. He's a student at the University of Idaho studying agriculture, and currently lives at that address in Moscow. On the 13th of November, he returned home at about 4:30 a.m. after playing video games at his fraternity house, which he identified as that. Later identified as this. So, nickname, real name. He parked his car on Blank Street directly to the east of the King Road house. After returning home, he took his dog out to relieve itself at about 4:50 to 5 a.m., walking to the dead-end portion of directly to the south of the King Road house. While out with his dog, he heard music playing from a nearby residence, as well as another dog barking in the area of 1155 King Road, but didn't notice anything unusual. Of course, nobody sees or hears anything. He returned to his apartment and got into bed. About 2 minutes after getting into bed, he heard a tapping, like the raven, on the window next to the front door. Like the Raven. He peered through the blinds on the window but didn't see anybody. Yeah. After learning of the unalivings at 1122 King Road, he read reports and articles that he believed showed Brian could have been the subject who tapped on his window. Okay. Sure. Once the interview was complete, I transferred the audio recording to a compact disc and provided it to MPT evidence technician Smallridge. Yeah. And that was it. That's it, guys. What do you think? Quote the Raven, let me in. Yeah, that's not Brian tapping on your window, idiot. No. Remember, he's speeding away. Okay. All right, let's move on. What's this? This is another interview. This is 144 Supplement. Let's see what we got in this one. Hopefully it's not as ridiculous as that one. Yeah, we just let all those things go. We got our guy. Witness 1. 44-year-old white female, Post Falls, Idaho. Another witness 1, white female, 19, Boise, Idaho. All right. And here is the narrative for this one. Okay, January 19, 2023, Wolf was caged. ISP Detective Leslie Lehman was asked to locate the owner of cell phone number blank. The number was used to attempt access of the T-Mobile account owned by this person, date of birth 2003. Research showed the most likely owner of the phone number was this, date of birth 1978. Law enforcement research showed an address at in Post Falls, Idaho, or this in Post Falls, Idaho. I visited the blank on January 19, 2023, the address. The owners of the 3-unit complex were identified and none knew this person. The owner of Unit passed on a stack of mail having been received in the last week at her unit and did not belong to her. I secured the mail, photographed the front of each envelope, and gave the mail to the U.S. Postal Service inspector that works in the ISP District 1 office. Investigation would show the names listed on the envelopes were not tied to this case. How do you know that? How do you know the names listed on the envelopes were not tied to this case? How do you know? On February 1st, 2023, I went to this person's apartment in Post Falls, Idaho, along with Idaho State Police Detective Gary Tolson. There was no answer at the apartment, so I left my phone number and requested a return phone call. Blank called me later the same day confirming family members had located my business card at her apartment. She confirmed her phone number was this, and the provider was T-Mobile. She was calling me from the number. On December 3rd, 2022, her account, which she shares with 8 other family members and is administered by her elderly father, was spoofed. Her elderly father answered a phish text from T-Mobile that exposed all the phone numbers on the account, including hers, to hackers. The account and numbers were locked down, but the entity that was using her number has continued to use it to contact people she does not know. All right. She has contacted the FCC and continues to reach out to T-Mobile. She forwarded me emails generated by those contacts. She also confirmed she was continuing to get angry text messages and voicemails from people who are receiving messages from her signed number. Oh my God. She recognized the last defense for her and the other numbers on the account was to change the assigned phone numbers. Yeah, stupid. No, we keep using the same number. Idiot. The emails connected, Idaho. The emails connected to the I know. The emails connected to the investigation with her and the photos taken of the mail at her residence have been saved to a disk and will be provided to Moscow Police Department and attached to the case file under this supplement. And that's it. Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. All right, we're going to leave it there. We're on 145, supplement 145, guys. 145. Let's see what this is. Okay, this is after the wolf is captured. Conducted an interview with somebody at the Moscow Police Department. Okay. Somebody who interacted with Brian prior to the homicide investigation. Okay, we're going to leave it right there. My guess is more bitching about him. Okay, and how creepy he was. Okay, let's move on and finish off the ghoul once and for all. But first, we must give away a hoodie. Can we give away a hoodie? I don't know. So, what is the song today? Well, here's the song for today. I hope somebody guesses it. You have 7 chances, my dears, and lovely's lows lads. Lily, you have 7 chances now to guess the song. But what song will it be? I'd try to switch up the groups here, guys. Try to switch them up. But here's the song. I'll probably have to cut most of it out, but at least you will know what it is. Here we go. No, mouse and they...
Bless you and give you strength, because you're going to need the rest of your life. You are going to be scrutinized. You are going to be followed. You are going to be photographed. Everything you say is going to be parsed and analyzed and attacked. But you said you're still fighting.
But don't worry, it gets easier.
Ow.
Right?
We're still trying to get them to release documentation. They told us that as soon as we were out of court, they were going to give us all of the discovery. Just 2 days ago, they sent us an email and said, no, that we have to go through it as the Freedom of Information Act. And we were in a meeting with...
You are kidding me. They're making you file a FOIA request for the documents?
Yeah, these people don't
2 days ago, because we kept saying, because they told us they would give it to us. They said they will give you all a discovery, and Shannon said, they're not going to have to go dig for it and get in line with everybody else. And they said, no, we'll give it to them. And we keep on asking. And then 2 days ago, we got an email and said, here's the links. You need to get on here and you need to file these forms and these requests. And there you go.
Which I did. And then it came back and said, we can't find any records on Kaylee. And I was like, all right, guys, tell me what department. The FBI has, let's just say over 10. And it's probably closer to 20. And I didn't know what department. I went for criminology justice, I believe, is where I did the FOIA. And they said, this is the wrong department. So I went back to them and said, can you at least tell me what department I'm getting a Freedom of Information Act on? And they're like, we don't have anyone to even talk to know. So they don't even know. And
I don't believe that. I think he's just an idiot.
You guys are clowns. You guys are clowns. You should be.
I don't know.
You should be embarrassed to be this bad at your
Maybe
job.
they are clowns. And I don't know.
I'll hold you accountable.
I don't know.
Every family, when you lose your child, you have to
well, with this case, it wouldn't fucking shock me.
Expect the most. When you're talking about life and death, you have to take charge of the situation. There's going to be a time for you to struggle and be a victim, but if you can, rally up and then go into that system and demand justice. Demand that your child is treated as well. And you'll feel better when it's all said and done. It's never going to bring them back. And I literally had a judge scream at me, we're not going to bring her back. And I was like, that's not what this is about. This is about you guys doing everything by the book.
Wait, the judge told you you're not going to bring her back?
Yeah, yelling at me, telling me he didn't want me to talk to the media anymore. And I said, well, that's not going to happen. I'm going to talk to the media every single time I want. He basically said, well, then we'll never have a trial.
Yeah, he had a closed hearing.
I can't believe a judge told you.
That's interesting. Yeah, they're telling him to shut the fuck up. Because you keep spouting your mouth out and you jeopardize the integrity of the case, idiot. But this idiot doesn't understand that. So, of course, I could see why the judge was yelling at him. Shut your mouth until we get the trial, Shut up, cool it. The other families were cooling it. This idiot, for some reason, he had to keep squawking off. And Nancy's too stupid to understand that, right? Nancy should understand that. God. Well, look at her now. But, yeah, that's what she looks like when she wakes up. Can you imagine waking up, looking over and looking at and seeing that? I mean, you don't need nightmares. I mean, you wake up and that's a nightmare, right? Just saying. Ad.
You're supposed to behave, and you can't bring her back. That is not appropriate for a judge to tell a grieving parent, you can't bring her back. Let's just let it go. It's not going to bring her back. It's not about bringing her back. It is about justice.
Yeah, he actually said...
It's about truth, Nancy. Truth, not justice.
In the courtroom, or on Zoom,
again,
all the families.
Justice is blind. Justice is blind. Remember? Careful what you wish for. Truth is what we're seeking.
And he actually said, and the Gonzalez family, especially dad, needs to shut his mouth.
And I said, that ain't going to happen.
And he said, I don't agree with that. And he said, I don't care if you don't agree with that.
That's right.
And Steve said,
you're jeopardizing the case.
Well, I mean, I'm fighting for justice for my daughter. And he says, do you think that that you're going to bring her back? Doing this all, talking to the media is going to bring her back?
No, that's a good point.
No, I mean, I know that.
That's a great point. It's not. The judge is trying to get through your thick fucking skull, but you didn't even listen to that. And your wife didn't listen to that either.
I'm not going to bring her back, but, I still have...
We got to hold people accountable.
We have a voice,
We have to hold people accountable.
How in the
but
hell
yeah, you got a voice.
off?
You have a voice, but you're not using it properly. You were jeopardizing the integrity of the case with your leaks. Probably you're leaking shit to the press with all your fucking interviews and shit that you were doing, and still continue even now. Oh my God. Sorry, let me keep it over here. I'm sorry, guys. Oh my God. She turns more ghoulish every time oh my God.
Off saying it's not going to bring her back to you, who have lost your precious pearl, and he is telling you
my precious
to speak or not speak. I mean,
I still had a son.
Don't laugh, Nancy. Don't laugh.
There was another victim's sister that went to WSU. We had lives still on the line, making sure that place was protected. And when we're sitting there saying, "Hey, we need to know the facts. We need to know were they stalked? What's going on?" We have kids still going to school here, and they're just like, "No, you don't have the right to know anything." And it was,
Yeah. No.
do you think the other parents
and
were
you didn't
duped?
And you don't think that was weird, Steve? Like this? Wait, why is this a cover up here? Like, what are they doing? Did you think maybe it was a cover up, idiot?
You think the other parents were duped? That they didn't understand the facts when they agreed to that plea?
So the plea, they set up a meeting with us via Zoom, our whole family, on a Friday afternoon. It was like an hour and a half long, and we talked about logistics of trial, because it was coming up. Security, where we're going to park, how we were going to have to phone in every day and tell them who's coming, and yada, 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 yada.
Our car had already been vandalized in their parking lot.
The
Ada
County.
So we're like, how do we make sure this doesn't happen anymore, guys?
And ironically, that day that we went to court, there was a bunch of pro burgers on the other side sitting behind Brian doing this and on the camera, and the car was vandalized. We're like,
your car was vandalized.
So,
speaking of the pro burgers, you know what I have in my hand?
Pro burgers, oh shit. What?
All of Coburger's complaints. I know it's kind of irrelevant. All that matters is Kelly is gone and her friends are gone and he murdered them, and we're paying for his 3 hots and a cot. That's what matters. And is there any way under God's son that it can be fixed?
Don't do it, Nancy.
But I find it ironic that he is filing
Let me
complaints.
guess. You're a good Christian too, aren't you? You fucking... I'm not saying the C word today, guys.
That he is being threatened sex harassment through the air vent. Like, he was the one looking up online, attacking and raping women in their sleep, when they were drugged, when they were passed out.
When was he looking that shit up, Nancy? Oh, you're just making this shit off the top of your head. What the
They were
fuck?
comatose.
Fuck off.
That's his fantasy.
Bullshit.
That's why he broke in that night.
Bullshit.
But he assumed
Where's your
the
evidence?
girls would be asleep.
Where's your evidence?
Whining that,
Where's your evidence?
Mommy, they're threatening me through the air vent. And he's actually, I love this one, that he's complaining about the food on his tray.
Yeah, it
and
sucks.
the nutritional value
Well, yeah.
of his food.
Yeah, well.
He didn't get his banana.
And he refers to bringing the food like a butler. The service just hasn't been that good.
Well, no.
It's going to get a lot worse.
Oh, yeah?
He's the property of Idaho now, and
really?
it's going to get worse.
It's going to get
I
worse.
guarantee you that.
Think,
like
Steve.
I think it's very ironic. I'm like,
Is that a threat, Steven?
you know,
Well, be careful you don't make these threats, Steven. Well, you're a jerk off, but whatever.
for him to get there and so quickly start complaining and even throwing out other inmates' names and CO names, it's like, you were in prison. I mean, like, this is not his forte. I mean, his forte is to kill, but not to be killed. You know, his forte is to, possibly, I mean, he didn't rape any of our kids, but possibly, but not get. I mean, what's good for the goose is not good for the gander here,
What?
And I think it's just so ironic that
That's
he's
weird.
complaining
What are you talking about?
with written complaints.
Not our kids.
And
What?
saying, this inmate so-and-so is doing this to me and saying this to me and this. And he expects them to come and save him.
Yeah. Well, they've been babying him,
Whatever.
and we baby our prisoners.
Oh, my
And
God.
when you become the property of a state, you should lose your constitutional rights. You shouldn't have all these rights as if you were a tax-paying citizen doing your best job, going to work every single day.
I'm being told this is needs us, but he thinks he'd blow our mind. There's a starman waiting in the sky, 'cause he knows it's all worthwhile. He's hoping. Let the children lose it. Let the children use it. Let all the children boogie.
And talking to legislators, you're asking of us things that we've done. We're not going to take this lightly. We're going to do everything from a victim's perspective. We've become advocates and witnesses for our kids, and we're trying to change it. And I think you guys can see that. That went all the way down to my daughter in the courtroom going after him and letting him know that we're not just going to be victims that you can keep down and keep trying to hurt.
I do also think that they really upped the ante taking him to prison, which what we were hopeful for, because I think that Latah County Jail was a cakewalk. And then Ada maybe got a little
Oh, it was
tighter.
total Mayberry. It was total Mayberry. I couldn't believe it. This guy's going to have a tablet. He can watch movies. He can communicate with the outside world. I guarantee you, just give it a minute until people think this has died down. He is going to Zoom at some symposium. He's going to have this weird cult following, like you mentioned, the Pro Burgers. He can write a book. There's no Son of Sam laws in Idaho, I don't believe. He can even get married.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
it's so wrong. I feel like running out in the street and screaming.
I think I just read somewhere the other day, which I know I did that. Does one of the Menendez brothers have a child?
Yes, he has a daughter.
He had children.
And even Jorn Vandersloot. You know Jorn Vandersloot that murdered two young girls? He murdered Natalie Holloway and Stephanie Tassiana Flores under similar circumstances. His judge daddy protected him. He's had not one but two babies behind bars. He drinks, he does drugs, he smokes, he gambles. It's like insane. But again, screw them and the horse they rode in on. I want to talk about what, if anything, can be done now. Starting with, do you believe the other families were duped? If they had known the truth, would they have gone along
they got duped.
I can't say 100%, but the thing is, I don't want to speak on behalf of them by any means, but I don't
but I will.
that the other families
But I'm going to anyway.
necessarily wanted the truth. They didn't want to be lied to, but they didn't want details.
Yeah.
And we did. We weren't just like, okay, she was stabbed to death around 20. We're like, how many?
That's because you're ghoulish too. Just like Nancy is. You're just as ghoulish, it sounds like. Oh my God.
do talk to Maddie's mom, and Maddie's mom is like, please, please, please. Like, I don't, so I don't say anything to her when I speak to her about, what happened. She's like, I don't read that stuff. I don't watch it.
Right.
Our thing is, we have kids. We have two that are old.
She doesn't want to. She's not a ghoul. She doesn't need to know how many times Maddie was stabbed. I mean, do you really, really need to know that information? I mean, I don't know. Ghouls.
Older, we have two that are younger, and you can't tell them to stay off social media for the rest of their lives. And I don't want one of them to open up TikTok and seeing crime scene photos of their sister or body cam. So we're trying to stay one ahead. And as a mother, even if I didn't have children, I would still, as much as it has traumatized me, I would still want to know what happened. I want to know what happened.
Okay, so you, sorry guys. So you don't want to see, but you want to see. That's what she's saying. I need to know, but I don't want to see the pictures, but I want to know how many. It don't make any sense. Either you want to see and know, or you don't. So, which is it there, Christy? You have a need. You want to know desperately all the gory details, but then you're saying, well, you then opening up social media and seeing pictures. Well, which is it, Christy? What do you don't? Sounds like you want to see.
Isn't it true? You basically got an email saying, "Hey, we got a deal."
Because you're ghouls.
Yes.
Like her.
On a Sunday afternoon. They sent it at 4:53 p.m. Steve happened to be checking his email a little later, around 6 or so, and he said, "What?" And we lost our minds. We immediately emailed them and said, we need to talk, like now, like what, has this been sent yet? Have you offered it yet? What is going on? They sent us an email the next morning and said, we can meet at 3 today. And we said, you didn't answer. Has this been sent already? And they said, yes, it was sent yesterday evening to the defense. And so we met with them at 3.
To the defense.
That day on Monday.
Right.
And the plea
it was sent to the defense. So it wasn't, so it sounds like the defense didn't do this. It was the prosecution who cooked this up and then sent it to the defense to see what they thought. It's not the other way around. That's what it sounds like to me, guys.
The plea had already been accepted, and we lost our minds. We were in that meeting. I mean, we were screaming, we were cussing, we were yelling, we were saying, why did you do this? How did you do this? What happened? You just talked to us on Friday and told us that, you had every anticipation of taking this all the way. We talked about court.
They never did.
We talked about a plea deal for like a second, and he just said, oh, I think that they might be wanting one, but we have no reason to give them one.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's how it went down.
And we're like, yeah, right? Why would we? And he said, well, how do you guys feel about a plea deal? And we're like, no, absolutely not. No. Boom, moved on.
Yeah, he accepted the plea deal within the same hour that he got it. This man never wanted to fight for our children. Literally, I mean it. They fought for their lives, for their very last breath, and this man had no fighting. They fought hard all the way to the end.
Who, Steve?
Gave up within an hour of being given an opportunity to quit on these kids.
Who, Stevie?
And that's the kind of prosecutor that you got to get. You got to get him out. You got to get real prosecutors in Idaho. We got some jobs to do. We got some work to do there.
Yeah, you have to have a prosecutor that, if you're in a death penalty state, believes in capital punishment.
Yeah, it's not your will. It's the victim's will. If they don't want it, then fine. But we had 4 people.
And Bill Thompson has never talked to us since that Zoom meeting that we had. And we were just like,
Evil Santa, baby.
Wait a minute, he's never talked to you since? He's been all over the media, but he hasn't talked to you?
Nope. When we did get a briefing, it was from the investigator, the 2 investigators.
And Ashley Jennings, so the deputy. But
Ashley, where are you?
Different windows, and we were all just like, Bill, how could you do this?
You took the gold, bitch.
No, Michael. After the deal, because he knew he had done the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I said, did you at least get some details? Did you at least find out about the kill kit, the knife?
The kill kit.
He goes, Steve, we'll never get those details. You're never going to get those details.
Right.
It's not important. He's just going to lie to us. And I said, You are absolutely
because the whole case was a lie, idiot. You're not going to get those details because this is all cooked up. And you still refuse. You still refused. There's in such denial, like the other people on the other side of the wall, just like them, in denial, because this case was a crock of shit. Okay, there's more than one perpetrator. The prosecution knows it, right? Everybody knows it except these two dum-dums. Yeah.
You have no idea who this person is. He is going to write a book, and I'm going to learn about the sickest details through his prophet book, through his sister, or through some professor, whatever way he does it. I'm going to hear about him, and you're an idiot for not even knowing who you're dealing with.
I think maybe I can get a straight answer from you guys. What do you believe Kohberger's motive was? Not that the state needs to prove it.
Incel.
I don't know why they kept talking about we can't prove motive. It doesn't matter. You don't have to prove motive in a murder case. But what do you believe was his motive?
I think that he had been watching either Kaylee or Maddie.
From where? From where?
I don't think the others were involved. And that's why he went straight up to that room. That house is so confusing. It's just
no, it's not.
Just a build on from hell. They just built on and built on and built.
Hey, okay. How did he know Kaylee was going to be there that weekend, moron? How do you know? How did he know that? She moved out.
And throughout the years.
You're an idiot.
It is a very confusing floor plan. And we know that he went in there very quickly. He wasn't, he went in and he went out. And
well, how did he know to do that? He never been there before, idiot. How did he know to do that in a confusing house? Duh. Hey, Steve, what do you think, idiot? How does he get in and out so quickly? He's never been in the house before. By the way, how did he know how many people were going to be there? How did he know there weren't 12 people going to be there? There's fucking a million cars parked outside. You're in the middle of the Roman Colosseum with houses all around you. You people are idiots. Stay in Idaho. You that's exactly where you two belong.
And he may have tried to walk into Kaylee's room first.
You fit right in.
We don't know. And Kaylee's bed was empty.
Look at that doggy. Look at the dog.
And maybe he went into Maddie's and then got mad because Kaylee woke up and was like, "Oh, there's two in here." But I think it was some sort of an obsession.
How?
Some sick, twisted, stalking. Maybe he hated one of them. Maybe it was both.
Can we talk to the dog? Hey, puppy, what do you think about your parents? Look at he's like, oh my God, no, don't even ask. Don't ask. Look at the eyeball.
I think it was.
Can I bite the back of can I bite the back of the mutt's head? Wait, I'm the mutt. Wait, maybe no, he's the mutt. I'm the cute puppy. Okay.
There was no blood on Kaylee's door, so that would lead us to believe he went there first, opened the door, seen the dog or seen something, and then said, okay, there's nobody here. Then I'm thinking he went to Maddie's room. And you don't see blood on that door, but the other door downstairs, they do see blood on it. So I think we're just going through this, reverse engineering it.
And you're wrong.
Detectives and things like that.
Well, you're wrong.
We believe that explains who he was going for. And he definitely stalked them. He stalked multiple girls on that hillside. He's a copycat killer, and he just was really poor at it. And you can look at his handwriting. He might be a PhD student in Pennsylvania, but he would have had a way harder.
You mean in Washington, idiot?
Time out here. He looked like a little kid, like a little fifth grader writing that paper. So I can't believe that's.
Guys, why do you think everybody is attacking Dylan and Bethany, acting like they did something wrong or even part of the murders? It's insane.
Oh.
I hate it. We absolutely hate it. And it just, I fear, and these girls are so young, and for them to have to deal with this for forever. And I'm not going to say that the events that occurred that night were strange. Do we think they were involved in any way?
Yeah.
No. Could they have saved the kids if they were to call 911 right then and there? No.
You don't know that. Nobody knows that.
But, I mean,
except maybe the coroner. I don't know. But that doesn't excuse their behavior. It doesn't matter. They should have called 911. Doesn't matter. Stop trying to fucking excuse their behavior, idiots. That's the problem. That's one of the biggest problems here. And they happen to be involved in this crime.
But you know, when you
in
go
my
into
opinion,
fear, you go into that flight or fight mode, and maybe that was they flew, you know.
They flew.
They cuddled up together.
They flew, and they could have walked right out the front fucking door, and they didn't do it. So fuck you, and stop with your fucking bullshit rationalizations and lies. They could have walked out that fucking front door anytime they wanted to, and they didn't. You know why? Because they were involved in the crime. You morons. That's the only explanation. That makes sense.
You know what's interesting about what you said? When you were talking about you saw LA law enforcement come up in your driveway, you ran to the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to explain in the heat of the moment, the fog of war, why anybody does anything.
The fog of war.
Do. Why did I throw all my books down?
The fog of war.
Why did you run to the bedroom? I don't know. Why does anybody do anything? And attacking those girls is just like more victimization.
Oh,
Another
knock it
thing,
off.
I know you've got to go.
Piss
but
off.
Really
Piss
interesting that Washington State had this long history of his anti-woman misogynist stalking behavior and did nothing. That's really interesting. If he had been thrown out, he wouldn't have even been there.
Exactly.
Yep. He should have been thrown out before he ever killed these kids. That's the truth. If they should have set a standard and said, look, we don't put up with this in our university. You cross the line, you're done. It's not even our decision. It's just your behavior. We're holding you accountable. You should behave like this. That's the expectations in Washington State University. And you either do it or you...
You know, they should have the same standards for Dylan and Bethany, right? They should be in jail. Not only for participating in the murders, but also for failure to report a crime. Yeah.
Or you don't.
Oh, after 9 fucking hours. A quadruple unaliving. Why? Because they were involved. It's the only rational explanation. Okay? 2 grown adult women can't make rational decisions together. For 9 hours. There's no explanation for it. Except for the fact that they were both involved and were aware of what happened. Morons. Fuck off, Mutt. Fuck off, Mrs. Mutt. But where's that cute little puppy? I'd like to see him again.
I mean...
You two I never want to see again.
13
Ever.
In the first semester. The first one came in August. That's the first month that you come to school. And then 12 after. And November had a huge, Thanksgiving break. And then he didn't even go the whole month of December. He took off like December 9th or 10th. And there's 13 formal complaints. What were they doing?
What was he doing? Following them? Stalking them?
No.
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 Being, would kind of act aggressive and stand in doorways from what we've read. And the girls would have to walk past him and yeah.
Guy should have been punched in the face. He was a creep. He was a disgusting creep. The kind of guy. We even heard about it from the Seven Sirens bar, where those girls put a little note said, "Hey, if you get this credit card, watch out for this guy." I mean, he's been doing this his whole life.
If you have
up to him, we need to start standing up to these type of bullies. And
he wasn't a bully.
So hopefully Idaho will get it right. Hopefully.
No, here's what they did. They attached somebody else's story to him. That's what they did. Right? The real psychos running around Moscow, Idaho, grabbing women, spitting on women in the bars, okay, carrying knives around, stalking Maddie and Xana to their house from the Mad Greek, Little G, with a shed full of knives. Yeah. like those characters.
They'll do the real justice. They'll
Jack
act like real men
Showalter,
there,
Jack
they'll handle it the way that it should
DeCoeur.
be handled in the first place.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is there
God.
any way in your mind that this plea can be reversed, or any way that the feds may seek the federal death penalty?
We've
No.
heard that, and we've seen that, and a lot of people have reached out to us.
Ain't gonna
and said
happen.
That, this can happen, but we don't understand why it wasn't federal in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, he crossed state lines to kill. He drove from Washington to Idaho. We never understood.
Because if they did that, the whole case would have got even more exposed. That's why they didn't do it. The case would have gotten even more exposed, and the cover-up would have been much more easier to see now that you have a federal case. No way. They do not want to go that far. No way. It's easy to see here. It's easy to see right now there was a cover-up. Imagine if this was elevated to a federal case. No way. You'd have to do a lot more covering up.
Understood why it wasn't a federal.
Because you're an
case in the
idiot.
first place. But
Exactly.
I think
Well, that's your answer. Why wasn't it?
I've got another question, because a lot of crime victims are watching you right now. Do you ever feel Kelly's presence
Oh, shit.
with you?
Reverend Donna, don't you start. I'm starting to tingle, guys. Hey, guys, I'm starting to tingle. Oh, no. Oh, Master Nature, Master Nature, don't you get all Donna on her. Remember, we rebelled against you for that, but, well, don't you start on Miss Donna, all right? We know you can't tingle. Okay, not like Miss Donna. Oh, not after midnight, baby. All right.
I do. I do. Not as much as I would like.
Tyrone, knock
but
it
once
off.
in a great while, I do.
Sorry, man.
And it's funny
It's
because
bingo night. It's bingo night.
You're outside and a little ladybug. Well, a ladybug.
Wish
will
me
land on you.
luck.
You're like, oh, it's bug. And then
Wish me luck, my garden.
ladybug. So ladybugs really get me because it's not that common that a ladybug will land on you. But Kaylee was bug. She was our bug. That's what we call her, K-bug. And we all just recently got ladybug tattoos. But ladybugs are very special, and I feel like And then here's another thing: is Kaylee was she loved Stitch when she was born. Stitch just came out, the cartoon Stitch, the Disney. And so we bought her everything Stitch. And it's very ironic that since Kaylee passed away, Stitch has been kind of brought back. They've done a new movie with Stitch. There's Stitch stuff everywhere.
Oh,
so
God.
we'll be in the store, this small or big one or something, and it's just like Kaylee. So Stitch and ladybugs.
Guys,
All
how
right,
do you
then.
speak with a straight face? How do you keep being so strong? I'm looking at Steve Gonzalez, and his face is like granite. How do you stay so strong?
Because it's so important, and I love our country. I
Oh,
love
here we
the
go.
state of Idaho.
I'm running for governor, and
I don't want these kind of sickos to prosper. And for us to win, we need real leaders.
You don't like
Real
reform.
men and real strong
you don't
women
like reform.
Stand up to these people. I'm making them. I'm raising them. I got some of the strongest girls in the freaking world, and he killed one of them. Hold them accountable. I feel like we got a job to do, and I think if parents get a little more proactive and be a little bit more vocal towards that prosecution, they can force the media to help hold them accountable. And I really believe that the government works for us. I believe that government is servitude. You go in to serve. You don't go in there for your own opinion. You might not believe in the death penalty. You don't care. It's the victims and their families. That's what you should be negotiating for. You're their vote. You're proxying their will through into the courtroom. And I think the court's lost that. And we're going to try to bring that back. I mean, there's a reason why we took our daughter to Texas. She had a full scholarship. We said, you're going to Texas because they honor their victims. They do everything in their power. Florida's another
Not
one.
that we're going to have another victim.
No.
Not happening.
What are you talking about?
But he's very
Not that we're going to have another victim.
You don't show
The
These are
fuck?
not just empty words.
That's a little
from
bizarre.
The beginning, the very beginning.
Not that we're going to have another one. She looks at Steve. Like, right? Okay.
You are
Weird.
the focus of so many prayers for you, for your children, for Kelly. not just for what you have endured, but what you will endure.
Don't let her in,
Lord,
guys.
thank you
Okay, don't let her in.
so much for being with
They're
us.
raving, not tapping at your window.
Thank you for your audience.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Never to see you again. Okay. All right, guys. That shall wrap it up. I love you all, babies. I love you all. Be back on soon. We'll be back here soon, loves. Remember, it's bingo night. Wish Tyrone luck. Well, you already know what happens. We'll talk later. Okay, babies. I love you all. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Hey, guys, I hope you really guessed the song this time, all right? Win that damn hoodie, please.